Hi, Brian from Veryfi, just here with a quick tutorial on our accuracy tool. I'm going to walk you through how to set this up and how to interpret the results that come out of it. Traditionally, we're using this for things like doing regression testing. So if you've got a control set of 50 or 100 documents, you merely want to track release over release how it's doing. Or if you're going after a specific support issue, you've got a vendor or a particular field that's not extracting and you want to watch how that's improving over time. So you'll go to the Analytics Extraction Performance tab. If this is not visible, please contact sales@veryfi.com or support@veryfi.com to ask them to enable it for you. Once it's there, you'll see a demo page, but if you've been using this and I've set the baseline up once, each time we release a new model, it'll automatically populate the results for that model down the line. And then we'll look after I recreate my baseline, I'll go into the show detail and show you how that works. So we're going to go through and we're going to redo my baseline. This is what it'll look like when you do the first time. It'll say create baseline. But prior to that, I've set up on my inbox a set of tags to help me locate and find those real documents very easily when I'm creating my baseline. So in this case, I've created a tag called ground truth. So if I scroll down here, we'll see I've now tagged number of documents in here, this tag ground truth. It makes them easy to go through and find when I'm creating the baseline set. And what I've done in this case is I've gone through and I've looked at each one of those to make sure the document vendor is correct, the line items are correct, the totals are correct. All the things that I'm interested in tracking in the accuracy tool are in fact correct here by correcting in the UI or correcting from the model training API. Once I've done that, then I set a tag called ground truth. So look to have maybe 50 or 100 documents available to be able to run your analysis on. We'll have a button there that says create baseline. In my case, I've already got one. I'm going to overwrite it. So I'm going to delete all these results and start from scratch by doing a baseline update. I then go in and select the different values fields that I want to be able to have. So in this case, I want to be able to look at a couple of the general fields in here. So date, invoice number, tax, total. Then I want to look at line items, description, quantity, price, total, and I would like to look at my tax line's name, total, and I would like to look at the vendor name. So all of the fields that you have available to your account should show up here. And then my next step is to then select all the documents I want to use in my analysis. So again, it's important to know that you've corrected these and they have the correct values in them, because that's what we'll be using for the baseline. Also note that they're going to go into an approved state, so they won't be editable once you've done this. And so there's lots of notices in there as you go through. But in this case, I select by my ground truth tag, use the select all button for me. You can go through and individually do these as needed. So I'll have 27 documents in my baseline. It's going to go ahead and ask me, these are the fields I want, these are the documents I want, hit approve. It's going to think for a few minutes. It's going to go out and it's going to create the data structure for this. It's going to evaluate these documents and put them into the baseline so that it's available for you to view. Okay. It's done. And in a minute, it'll finish refreshing the data and you'll see for the current model, the results. Okay, so it's come back with my results for the model 2.38. Now I can go in and investigate and see what's going on with each of those. So I can go to the show details button, highlighted in green. There's a match between the baseline and what was extracted. So in this case, I can hover over and see that this got the date slightly incorrect. It got 12/23. Versus my baseline, which had it as 11/23. Guessing that's a OCR error. And I could go in and look at that document by clicking on the hyperlink. We can see that in the baseline, I called it Rayleigh instead of Rayleigh's Supermarkets. And then I can drill down into my line items to take a look and see how those line items work. So in this case, my description, my price, my quantity are all correct, but in this case, we extracted $1.89 for the toasted bagels, yet my baseline has null. So I might want to go back and double check to make sure that the baseline is truly correct and see where the issue is there. Note that this is a little challenging when you've got a different number of results extracted from the document than are set in the baseline. So when those two are different, it tries to do its best to find the right match between those. Otherwise, when there's the exact number, it's easy to go through and double check that description is actually what was extracted from the receipt. So that allows you to drill in both to the line items as well as the tax lines. So if I were to go through and look at this particular document, right, it had a total tax of $827. So it picked that up correctly. Got some more complicated ones like Friedman's, where again, it's trying to find the tax line name as well as the tax line value. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to use the extraction performance tool. Thank you.